What's up, world? Welcome to a new episode of the BrandonJaneauShow. As you know, I am Brandon Janeau, and like all podcast platforms, it's BrandonJaneauShow. Just type it in. You can comment on it, uh, rate it. Hope you guys are. That will help me out tremendously. Um, Social media platforms, BrandonJaneauShow, Instagram, TikTok. You know the social media platforms already. If you listen to the show, if you watch the videos, you know social media platforms already. Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Facebook, Brandon Janeau Show, and of course YouTube channel. Like always, man, that YouTube channel, man. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, Brandon Janeau Show, as well. Um, let's get into it, man. So this is Life of Times for Music, and I tried to do this episode last night. Stuff happened. I did it, but then I didn't like it. Felt like it was rushed. I didn't like that. So tonight I'm gonna do it again, re-record it, and then post it. Thank God I didn't, you know, delete the recording and everything. So it's gone. So let's get into it. So I tried this episode last night, and this is the artist breakdown. And tonight's artist that I'm talking about is the one, the only, the king of the South, TIP, coming live from the VIP. Ti, man, can't have history of hip hop, especially 50 years of hip hop, without talking about the king of the South, Ti. Um, I'm gonna be honest. I wasn't a huge fan of I'm Serious, his first album. Wasn't a huge fan of it, but just like everybody, I became a fan of Ti when I heard trap music. It's crazy to think that album came out literally what 20 years ago. Damn, 20 fucking years ago. Trap music came out, and it solidified what Ti was to become. Not yet, but what he was to become. He was starting to say he was the king of the South even then, but trap music really solidified it. And of course, on trap music, you had, you know, Rubber Band Man, Ride as the Taliban, Nine in my right, 45 in my other hand. Who is? Always in trouble, man. Always in trouble, man. Worth a couple $100 grand. Chevys, all colors, man. Who I is? David Banner at that time was just starting to become that producer of the South. Like you had to get a David Banner beat. You knew it was real when you got a David Banner beat. But and then 24s came out. It's just like, come on, bro. Be Easy, which is one of my favorite songs off that album. Um, then you had, what else you had on there? Let's Get Away with him and Jazzy Faye, which, by the way, again, Jazzy Faye at that time was the producing hook king. He was DJ Khaled with actual talent. Like, people get Jazzy Faye. Like Jazzy Faye was like DJ Khaled with actual talent. Like he was like Jazzy Faye could actually sing. Like Jazzy Faye was that nigga. Like and he produced beats. So Jazzy Faye was that nigga, man. So Let's Get Away was that shit, man. Man, that whole project was legendary, man. It's crazy to think it's 20 years since that album even dropped. That's crazy to think that, man. Um, it dropped in '03 because this, of course, 2023. So '03 it came out, and then by '04 he dropped the real, to me, one of his best albums, and I might actually have to do an album breakdown and a debate on this one because I might have to do it. Um, and that is Urban Legend. Put it, stamp it. This was the album I think that really made Ti the king of the South. This is the album that really made him the king of the South. Bring them out, bring them out, bring them out, bring them out. It's all the yeah when the barrel's in your mouth. Swizzy. Yeah. You had Bring them out on that project. You had Stand Up with Lil Jon, Trick Daddy, and Lil Wayne. Come on, man. You had ASAP, ASAP, ASAP. I'ma blow him off the map. AS. Man. Motivation. Yeah. Wayne, of course, took that beat and killed it off on the dedication. But motivation on that album was dope, man. What it do with BG, man, that shit was crazy. What else? What else? My nigga, you don't know me. When you holler in the streets, my nigga, you don't know me. Like, like you don't know me was on that project too. Like you, like yeah, that album was classic, man. Like it's one of his certified classic albums. Like if you actually ask a Ti fan, I think a lot of Ti fans say that was the album. That was the album that really made them a Ti fan. Urban Legend was the shit. It was one of the best projects that came out that year. You gotta realize also at that time he was beefing with Luda. Like that was a crazy time. And then he's also in legal troubles. And then when he did that, man, that album solidified T.I. as the king of the South. It really did solidify him as the king of the South. Moving into '06 though, that's when he solidified him as one of the best rappers in the game when he dropped the King album. Now, this is one of my favorite albums by T.I. Of course, I did the debate on this already. Excuse me. I might actually have to do a debate with the King album because I think it won that one. Yeah, because that was the first debate I ever did was King versus Paper Trail. I think that was my first ever debate I did for my series, and I gave it to King. I think I did. Yeah. So I might have to do another debate with the King album and Urban Legend. I might have to do one. Stay tuned if I actually physically do it. That might be, by the way, the second time I've ever done a two debate like on just one artist discography. Because the King album is a classic, but Urban Legend is just as great. And King comes out in '06, and this is when he really starts to take off, not just as a rapper, but as a household name in the game. This is the first time he starts to really start to be an actor. He gets ATL. He just takes off. And of course, what you know about that? What you know about that? Hey, don't you know I got? I know you singing a song. See, I ain't even had to finish it. I know you probably singing the hook. I ain't even had to finish that. You probably singing the hook already. I already know you are. That is what that album was about. But Tie Back with Manny Fresh producing that bitch, I was like, God damn, nigga, Tie Back. And then you had Why You Wanna Go and Do That, do that. Hey, say Why You Wanna Go and Do That, like that. Oh man, yeah, holy shit, King was that shit, bro. King was that shit. I'm Straight with him, Jeezy, and BG. That's literally like one of my favorite songs that nigga's ever done. I'm straight, you dig? Please believe that shit. Live in the Sky with him and Jamie Foxx. Bankhead with him and PSC. And Young Dro killed that bitch. Um, King, I think solidified, like I said, was the album that I think solidified him at the top. You got Front Back with him and UGK. Like, come on, bro. King Back that started off. Yeah, that album solidified him, I think, as the guy, as one of the guys in hip hop. He's one of the best rappers. And that was in '06 when he was just at his peak. And of course, around this time, that's when, and also around this time, this is when he started to get into legal troubles. A lot of legal troubles. He was already having them doing Urban Legend, but this is really at the peak of when he started to really just getting some shit. King comes out, and then I think he got arrested, and then he went away for that, and then he was on probation for that, and then this is around the time when he starts to drop. You know, he dropped Ti versus Tip in '08, '07, '08, because Big Things Poppin' comes out. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Can I be honest with y'all for a second? Because I want to be honest. I have never liked Big Things Poppin' ever. I think that's kind of like his worst fucking song he's ever dropped. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Like for all the commercial hits Ti has had, to me that was the worst one. like because I'm like, bro, like I just hated that shit. Big things popping and little things popping. Big things popping and little. I hated that fucking song. I hated it. Maybe because I was in Atlanta during the summer when that shit came out. I don't know, but I really hated that song. I fucking hated that song. I don't know why. I just like I don't understand. Like this shit is stupid. Like I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Like I was like, yeah, this shit is no. It's not it, bro. It's not it. Anyway, Ti versus Tip comes out, and this is when he starts to really work with caliber of artists, and this is when he dropped "Watch What You Say to Me" featuring Jay Z, which is crazy to think, cause him and Hov has only had like two fucking songs together, two or three. I know they've had "Watch What You Say to Me" and they had "Swagger Like Us." Those are like two songs, and even "Swagger Like Us" is a collaboration song with Wayne and Kanye. So they've only really had one record together with them two on it. Like that's it. Watch What You Say to Me. But what a record! But what a record! You know what I'm saying? You had Hurt come out with Busta Rhymes, and at that time, Busta Rhymes had a run. At that time, like he always has a Busta Rhymes run. But that time, like people forget that Hurt verse from Busta Rhymes on that hoe. If people forget that verse, like from Busta Rhymes on Hurt, like people really do forget it, like as one of the classic Busta Rhymes verses. He killed that shit. Um, what else was on that album? I want to say him and Eminem. I want to say it was on that project. I know they had a song called Touchdown, which was also on that record. I can't remember if it was on that one or No Mercy. I can't fucking remember. But one of my favorite songs that they've ever done is That's All She Wrote, and that's my shit. I love that song. I love that fucking song. I ain't gonna lie. Like I love that song. Um, but yeah, Ti vs. CIP was a, a fucking classic. Oh, tell him I said that, which was another classic song on that bitch. Like Ti vs. CIP was that shit too. It really was. But again, legal troubles, problems were going on was in his in his with his personal life. It was just a lot of shit going on with Ti around that time in '07, '08, and then goes into '08 where he's about to go away. We find out that he is going away for a good bit, and he drops Paper Trail. And this is the album I think really solidified him as one of the greatest to ever do it. It wasn't just a lot of commercial hits. It's actually had some really good fucking songs on there for his true day one fans, which you had, of course, Live Your Life with Rihanna is like a fucking juggernaut. Dead and Gone with him and Justin Timberlake, which, by the way, in '06, around the time of King, that's when they started working on songs together. Like My Love becomes this massive fucking hit. But Dead and Gone is a crazy song, man. Uh, you can have whatever you like becomes a juggernaut. Swagger Like Us comes out and becomes out of all the songs that had multiple artists that we always wanted to hear together, Swagger Like Us is probably the best one. I'm gonna be honest, because everybody was talking their shit, and it kind of makes me think: what if Jeezy actually was on Swagger Like Us? Because people forget it was actually supposed to be Kanye, Wayne, Ti, and Young Jeezy, and somehow, some way, Jay Z ended up on it. I have no idea how Jay Z ended up on that shit, but the original song was supposed to be Wayne, Kanye, Ti, Jeezy. And all four of those artists had albums dropping around the same time. Jeezy, I think, had The Recession coming out. Ti, of course, had Paper Trail. Kanye, I think, had just dropped Graduation, but he had 808s and Heartbreak about to drop. And then of course, Wayne was dropping a Carter 3. So all four of them were supposed to drop a song together. And that was supposed to be the way that was supposed to be. I've heard Jeezy say how he ended up not on the song, but you know, like, but Swagger Like Us takes off. But then you get into that album, man. It's one of my favorite albums from Ti. That's probably why I did the debate on it first, because you got On Top of the World with Ludacris and him. Which, by the way, at this time, we didn't know that them two niggas had squashed that beef because we had never heard them really talk about it. But to hear them two on a song together on Top of the World with B.O.B. at the time, before B.O.B. became B.O.B., he had his run. Um, and also on that album you had Swing Your Rag with him and Swiss Beats. You had what else? I'm Illy. I'm Illy. When niggas get off, fizz off. Me and mine all to take time to pop the lid off, shit off, over the web, asking me, is y'all sick of your fucking mind? You thinking now I'm a fizz off? Never cooled off, tip scorching. I'm like, God damn, this nigga here, bro. 56 bars. And of course, what's up? What's happening? Are you haters? Can get at me? That shit was flat. Yo, that shit was a classic, bro. I ain't even gonna lie. That shit was a classic album, man. I probably okay. I understand why I did the debate now on it. Yeah, man, that was a classic, man. Um, oh yeah. Also, you had My Life Your Entertainment with him and Usher. Man, that bitch was fire. Yeah, man. That Paper Trail was a different type of caliber of album, man. No matter what, yeah, man. Paper Trail launched him, but again, like I said, legal troubles. Like he just could not get the fuck out of his own way. Paper Trail was just right there, prime to take him to another caliber when it came to the music, hip hop, artistry, everything, man. And he couldn't get out his fucking way. Goes into 2010 when he's in and out of the trouble still. He drops No Mercy, which he got a song. Chris Brown, Get Back Up comes out, and at that time Chris Brown was going through his own situations. At that time, him and Carrie Hilson drop a song, but also on No Mercy, he had some songs on there like him and Rocco, classic. Um, him and a Dream, fire. You know what I'm saying? Like him and Kanye and Kid Cudi, I would like to welcome you to the world of. Like it's just a different caliber, man. No Mercy is a dope project. You actually go listen to it. But again, he goes through his situations, and then he comes out, and then he drops "Heavy as the Head That Wears the Crown" project. He might have dropped that one before that, but I think he dropped "Heavy as the Head That Wears the Crown" 2012, I think. So by 2012, he drops it. He drops an album, and that's when he has Wayne with Ball on there. Then he has uh, what else he got on that album? Guns N' Roses with him and Pink, which is one of my favorite songs. Also on No Mercy, which is another one of my favorite songs, Castle Walls with him and Christina Aguilera, which is fire as fuck. If you never heard that song, I don't know what to tell you. Go listen to it. It's fucking incredible. Um, but Ball with Wayne, you had Guns N' Roses with him and Pink, him and CeeLo Green, Hello, produced by Pharrell, which is dope. Sorry with him and Three Stacks, bruh. Him and ASAP Rocky, Wild Side, him and Meek Mill, G Season. Yeah, man, that project was dope. Um, all in all, even with T.I.'s features that he's been on, I know y'all probably thought I skipped some features because he also had features at this time during this time. When you hear Wayne say on Drink Champs that, at the time when he got the Soldier record from Destiny Child, that they had told him like this is not a guarantee. We don't know if this is gonna be the last real song you're gonna be on. Well, we don't know if we're gonna use your verse for this album for this song. Same thing with Ti. He was like, we were told like, bro, this is a representation for the South. Like, y'all two gotta kill it. Y'all gotta go in there and just kill it shit. So for Ti to get on a song with Destiny Child is massive. That's a massive look. Like I said, my love with him and Justin Timberlake, but he's had some classic verses. You know what I'm saying? Like classic songs that he's been on and he's done with people. Man, Ti, like one of my favorite, like Stump, like I said earlier, with him and Ludacris. A lot of people overlook his verse on Stump, but if you go listen to the verse on YouTube, because I listened to it a couple of nights ago, if you go listen to that verse on YouTube, man, that nigga actually killed that shit. Of course, Ludacris came out of nowhere, but of course, if you do what I do and you watched Beef when I was a kid, Beef DVDs when they used to kind of like talk about rivalries and beefs with people, you found out that like Ti already had laid his verse down. Like Ti already had laid that verse down, and Young Buck went to Ludacris and told Ludacris, "Hey man, listen to what Ti said about you," and that's kind of how the fuck that song came to be. So T.I. and Luda, like Tip said, we both had the same idea and we went in with the same intentions to diss each other. And at the same time, we knew each other was gonna be on this record together. You probably would have heard a different song. But the fact of the matter is, it happened the way it happened. But that verse is dope. Um, was another song. Uh, even the Soldier record, the Soldier verse was actually a dope verse if you actually listen to it. So T.I.'s had some songs, man, some verses. Like I said, My Love with him and Justin Timberlake, of course, that's a massive look for him. But then you also put into perspective, Ain't I, nigga, Ain't I verse. All the artists he's also put on. A lot of people forget T.I.'s put on a lot of artists. Iggy Azalea, B.O.B., like I said earlier, Young Dro. Um, People forget, like I did when I did my artist breakdown on Travis Scott. People forget Travis Scott was signed to T.I. So it's a lot of artists he has also put on in the game. T.I.'s had other albums since that run of his. He's went on and done podcasts and all these other things. But one thing about T.I. that I can easily say is that he is definitely the king of the South. He's one of the best to ever do it. And it'd be crazy for anyone to say that he's not. It's nuts to say that he's not. Excuse me. The run Tip had, top tier, one of the best. Um, and you cannot look at the 50 years of hip hop and when we talk about the South and not mention Ti, because that is the craziest thing in the world. For all of his albums that he's dropped, like I said, he's got classics. He's got classic albums. He got classic mixtapes. Um, he's one of the best to ever do it, and I'm happy to be a part of the era that Ti came up in. Because let's be real, man, if it wasn't for Rubber Band Man and Top Back and all these other songs that he graced us with when I was young, man, it would be different. I know people now joke on him sometimes for some of the shit he's done, of course, using big ass words that nobody really gives a fuck about or can't really pronounce, neither can he. But for the most part, man, for the, the era that he was in, the early 2000s, man, if you like me and you grew up in that era, you know damn well what T.I. was as a rapper and what he stands for when it comes to 50 years of hip hop. So to Ti, if you ever see this, I don't know if you will, but if you will, thank you, because without you, man, music in the early 2000s would have been so fucking dull. From trap music to urban legend to your latest albums, thank you, appreciate it, man. And speaking of Ti, man, I'm not done with Ti because he is getting a top 10 list. So sit back and enjoy that one. And until then, peace. Go listen to some Ti, man. All music platforms everywhere. Till then, I'm Brandon Janeau. This is Live Times Music, the artist breakdown. Tip, TIP, Ti, King of the South. Peace.